Well, I set up my library by genre, of course, nonfiction, fiction, but I also set it up by subgenre. I have lots of books, fantasy books. I have science fiction books. I have history books. I have different topics within history. The more organized I make it by subgenre, the more likely I'm able to pick out a kid for a book and pair it with a book, or pair that book with a kid. I also have my own little shelf that are Mr. Wooster's books. They're my favorites. I've read them all. I can talk about them all with kids. It's also a super diverse collection. We have lots of award-winning books, Newbery Medal books, Coretta Scott King books. So we have really great literature in our libraries. We try to keep it high level. Of course, that just makes it exciting for kids having all those, having books that they can relate to, having books that have been well established as great literature. I talk about books a lot. I don't talk about movies very often. I don't talk about TV very often, but I'm really into books. I talk to my kids every day about some book that I'm reading, something I read the weekend before. I tend to read at least one fifth grade book every Saturday morning. I come to the school and I talk to kids about it, and then I've got something to motivate them. I use the books that I read on the weekends to pair it with a kid usually. So just in general, being a reader myself, some of that excitement just rubs off on them. Also, it's just giving kids really great books to read like we have. And the other part of it just being yourself and letting your own passion for reading as an adult reader shine through. Well, you have to know the books inside and out, so it's always a good idea for you as a teacher to read those books yourself. But you also come to appreciate the books yourself too. I've heard some teachers say, oh, kind of in a snobby way, like, that's just a fifth grade book, why would I read that? But actually the fifth grade literature being put out these days is pretty wonderful. The themes are really strong, very relatable. So as a teacher, it's crucial that you read the books yourself, you know the literature inside and out yourself, and the more you know it, the more passionate you're going to become about it, and the better you'll be able to teach it to the kids. They'll sense whether or not you love that book, and that just rubs off on kids. Probably my favorite book to teach to kids and also to read to fifth graders in general is Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. It's a hilarious book. A lot of times kids think that a book is just all words, but Shel Silverstein puts those beautiful visuals in kids' heads, and they're hilarious, and just a good way to get kids hooked into reading.